Here's another message to Aaron Ra. Because you are raw like broccoli. Yes. So, one more message to Aaron R.A. if he ever gets this. I hope he does. He probably wouldn't, but I hope he does. Pray God, Jesus, give him the message. Yeah. So, this is the thing. Or give him something. Give him something. Snap that boy's brain, right? Okay, so this is the thing. I had my own experience. And you may be thinking, oh, you're a fucking liar, bitch. Am I? Well, we'll find out in the end, won't we? This is what happened to me. I asked Jesus, who are you? Because I thought Jesus was a dead person, you know. So, well, if Jesus is real, he's probably dead. You know. I said, well, okay, Jesus, who are you? I really want to know. I want to talk to the spirit world. If there's spirits, you know, floating around after you die. And over a 24-year period, I had visions happen to me chronologically of what Jesus was in the Bible. I did not know the Bible. I did not read the Bible. I did not go to church. I didn't do any of that shit. I just asked him who he was, and he told me. He did. You can say, fuck you, bitch, I don't believe it. Well, when you're dead, you're going to find out with the truth. That's when the truth comes. Where you came from before you were born, where you're going when you're dead, that's when you're going to know for sure. That's when you're going to know. And if that's the only way you want to find out, if you don't work on this and do your chess game and try to really go find the truth, because I know you want the truth. I know you do. Aaron, R.A., Ra, you want the truth. I know you do. You've said it. So this is the thing. I asked Jesus who he was. This is after I went to Stonehenge in the United Kingdom. Amesbury, bread and breakfast. And Amesbury, bread and breakfast. Bread and breakfast. Bed. Bread. Anyways. And I have this buzzing in my heart. It wakes me up in the middle of the night, like Dio's rainbow in the dark. Bzz, 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 and I wake up and there's a rainbow coming out of my heart, like the song, even though I didn't think of that song back then because I wasn't even into that kind of music. I liked 80s. I wasn't into that kind of music. So, but it, anyways, then I come home and I'm asked Jesus, I'm like, who are you? I come home from the United Kingdom. Who are you? And then years later, after breaking up with a boyfriend, I'm crying and this door opens from my heart and I see Jesus on the door. And I'm like, what? And he's holding a lamb. He's got a gold crown with the red, yellow, and blue jewels in there. Okay, that's weird. I'm seeing Jesus and a door opening from my heart. Okay, so he's finally telling me who he is. Okay. Because when he first buzzed my heart, bzz, 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 and a rainbow comes out, because the covenant of the rainbow, Noah's Ark, obviously. He's knocking on my heart. 1950s doorbell. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Hello? Okay, my heart's buzzing. What the hell is going on, right? I don't know what's going on. This is before I even asked Jesus who he was. So now I'm asking him, who are you, Jesus? And you're knocking on my doorbell here. Who are you, Jesus? And then years later, I have this breakup with a boyfriend, and weird shit happened with his sister-in-law, and they called the cops on me and crap. I didn't even do anything wrong. I was just giving him a gift bag, trying to get back together with my boyfriend. She was kind of Looney Tunes. So the cops call me. Well, it was really nice what you did, but they were putting a restraining order on you. Okay. I bawl my eyes out. I go out in the living room. Boom, there's Jesus on my heart. Whoa, what the heck is this? Because I had asked him. I said, who are you, Jesus? Like, gosh, what is it? Like 7 years before this comes out of my heart, I had asked him who he was. I was sincere about it. Spirit, dead spirit of Jesus, who are you? Because I didn't know he was God. I didn't know who he was. I didn't. I just heard about him a little bit here and there. That's it. Then, so that happened. And then another thing happened years later. Gosh, it was another 6 or 7 years later. I got at work. I was working at a middle school as a substitute dishwasher, and I was working with students in the kitchen. And one of the students was 6'5", and I had a crush on him. He was like 12, but he was like 6'5", and he looked like a college student. And I was like, God, I was crying out to God, I'll bring the cops in. I don't want to have nothing to do with this job no more, because I wasn't going to quit my job because of this kid, but I couldn't be there because I was like, had feelings for this kid, right? I was like, well, he was a really nice, respectful kid compared to the other kids that were all obnoxious. And so what happened was, I write a letter to my boss and I say, I can't do this. I can't hold this kid's hand unless he's 26 years old. I was being very nice about it and cordial, and I was like, get me out of this, and so they said, okay, you can't work here no more. The cops came and said, well, you can't work there anymore because they can't be held liable if something were to happen. I was like, okay, good, get it over with. I was crying out to God anyways, because even though I was crying out to Jesus, really, because I was like, help me, you're supposed to be something, because this is when I started kind of learning about Jesus somewhat, but I didn't really know still. But so anyways, even at that time I didn't know he was claimed to be God, or he whatever that stuff was. So I go home, or I'm at home, and after the cops came to my house to tell me that I could no longer be at the middle school to work there, I go lay down in my bed. And I'm laying there, just, at least done with that, because it was driving me cuckoo. Having a crush on a 12-year-old is like, what the heck? But he's 6'5", he looks like a college student. It's like, what? And I lived with my parents all my life. I forgot to say, I lived with my parents all my life, and I'd never been married, never had kids, so I was like a big kid myself. I wasn't a sicko or anything. I just had a heartfelt, like, oh, I'd really like to marry that kid, if he was older. That kind of a thing. It wasn't being sick or perverted or gross. So what happened was, I'm laying in my bed, and then Jesus on the cross at the foot of my bed. I'm laying there. He's at the foot of my, and then he falls down, and his thorn from his crown goes into my heart. This is 3D vision. 3D vision. Like if you're on drugs, you're having some hallucination. But it's a 3D vision, okay? I'm not on drugs. It's a 3D vision. You can still have that. And the only time I've had this was because when I asked Jesus who he is, and he gave me these visions. I have never had visions when I was on drugs when I was in my youth. No, nothing like that. So, that happened. Then, what's this? That's 1, 2, 3. And then, years later, I go out and I'm looking at the sun. Oh, and I forgot to say that when I saw him coming out of my heart, I went out into my backyard and I closed my eyes because I was still upset about my boyfriend breaking up with me. And in my mind, I see a stone bird bath with like a concave well in it. A stone bird bath that you might see in a yard, really. And in the round concave of the bird bath, it's dry, no water, just a seed. I didn't know what that meant. It's like, what the heck does this stuff mean? I don't know what this stuff means. I was like, but I remembered it because this is right after I see Jesus coming out of my heart, and then I remembered it. I was like, okay, and so then what happened? Oh yeah, the next thing after I see Jesus falling from a crucifixion thing, and he's piercing me in my heart, I go years later again. I go and I look at the sun in the morning. I'm just staring at it because I would sun gaze into the sun and close my eyes and open and close my eyes and open my eyes and close my eyes and open my eyes, because if you don't do that, you're going to have a thing left in your eyes for quite a while, for a day or two, until you go to sleep. And you got to be very careful when you're doing that. You got to know how to do it, and I knew how to do it. And the colors are amazing. So I was doing that, and then I walk into the front yard, and I look up into the sky, and I see a round circle with the bust of Jesus, here in his head and just his shoulders in the circle, and the circle is neon green, which is opposite the color violet, ultraviolet, which is purple rays from the sun. That's really what the color of the sun is ultraviolet rays. And so it was the opposite color of the sun, and so it was Jesus in there. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing another thing, Jesus. He's showing me who he is, what's going on. I still don't know what this stuff means. Don't know what none of it means. Then I decide to, this maybe a year after this happened, I decide to look up all this stuff and figure out, well, let's just look in the Bible or look up online and see if this stuff has anything to do with the Bible. So that's what I did. I went online and I started typing in, the rainbow out of the heart. What is that? What does the rainbow have to do with the Bible? And it should tell me what it had to do with. It has to do with the covenant, one thing, but most importantly, it has to do with the light, the spirit of the light. The God is the light. The color light spectrum is the rainbow. God is light. God is rainbow. He's all the color. He's the light. Jesus is the light. So that is that. Okay. And then I was like, well, what is this buzzing? Well, the Trinity is buzzing my heart. 1, 2, 3. Like, hello, hello, are you there? Hello. And then Jesus coming out of my heart, like he was the King of the Jews, or he is the King of Kings, so leave the 91 for the one sheep, because he was holding a baby lamb. Did I forget to say that? He was holding a baby lamb when I saw him come at the door of my heart. I'm sorry, I have arthritis really bad, and I'm anyways, it was a door coming onto my heart, and he was holding the baby lamb, and he had a crown, and he was very solemn, and everything I saw of him, he was very solemn. So, and then in the Bible it says Jesus is the gate, he is the door, he is the good shepherd, and the sheep and the goats, and he'll leave the 91 for the one sheep. And I'm like, okay, he's telling me who he is. This is a spiritual thing happening to me. I'm seeing this shit. He's telling me who he is. Chronologically, in the beginning, you got the Trinity. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Buzz, buzz. The rainbow. He's the light. The covenant. All that. From the beginning, that was Jesus. He's telling me this. Okay, that was before I even asked him who he was. It was him telling me who he was already before, because he's knocking on my door, and this, somebody's knocking on my door. Okay, who is it? Oh, who are you? Who are you? Before I open the door, oh, this is who I am. I'm Jesus. Oh, I forgot I had asked you who you were. And so then he's on the cross, right? He dies, crucifixion. He dies. So I learned about that, even though I had learned about that years before, that Jesus had died on the cross, I think when I was 19, and I didn't understand why. I just heard about it. I didn't learn about it. I just heard, oh, did you know Jesus died on the cross? That was all I heard. And I was like, oh, that's really sad. Wasn't he supposed to be some nice guy or something, That was all I knew. I didn't know anything else. So he falls down, he pierces me in the heart like a gardener with a dibber, because when he comes out of that stone thing to talk to Mary Magdalene and say, don't touch me, he appears to her as a gardener. He's like dibbering my heart to put the seed of truth in my heart, like the stone, that bird bath with the seed is my heart, is the stone, and he's going to put his King Arthur's sword into my heart, because the sword of truth. This all makes sense if you like the idea of knights in shining armor. He is the ultimate knight in shining armor. I mean, come on, people. So then, I'm sorry, sorry. My husband's walking around doing stuff. So then, the knight in shining armor dealing, and that's him poking the crucifixion wreath in his head into my heart. This stuff is real. I didn't read this shit out of the Bible. Jesus was showing me all of this stuff, and then finally, when I get almost to the end of my visions over a 24-year period, I go, well, I should look in the Bible and see if this stuff is true. What does this stuff mean? And that's what I did. And so the one of him in the sky, that's him saying, I'm the light, I ascended to heaven, I ascended to heaven. Okay, you ascended to heaven. So then I write to Styx Hexenhammer 666. He actually responded back, because he's a really nice guy. I like him a lot, although there are a lot of Christians who bash him and cuss him out, and they're very foul and rude and vulgar to him, which is wrong. But no, I like him a lot. In fact, I liked him so much, I was like, hey, you want to get, you looking for a wife? I liked him a lot. He's cute. So anyways, but he went off, got married, and I went off, got married. Good thing, because we both went with whoever we had to be with. So I wrote to him about all these things that happened to me, and then he actually did a video, an occult video, talking about, well, if I ever go and have to go see because I told him, I said, you should ask Jesus who he is. And he did do a video about that, saying, oh, if I go and, ask Jesus, I can't remember the video. All I know is I can't remember the video he made, and I couldn't find it because I didn't think about keeping the video when I first saw it, because it was not shortly after I wrote to him about all this stuff about him. He should ask Jesus who he is. So anyways, he was kind of compelled by some of the stuff I was saying, and I had like a short conversation with him on Twitter. But the thing is that the last thing that happened was when I was having dreams too of being able to breathe underwater. And by this point, after I had figured out all this stuff is true from the Bible, asking a spirit who I thought was just a man who died, who are you, Jesus? What is the big deal about you, right? He's giving me all this stuff that lines up with the Bible chronologically when I don't even know the Bible. How would I know that stuff? Am I lying? Am I a lying bitch to be telling this to people? To be a Christian, to come out and, oh, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm trying to make money. I'm some asshole preacher up there doing the prosperity gospel, trying to make money. No, this has nothing to do with money. This has to do with, where the fuck am I going when I'm dead? That's what it has to do with. Everything to do with where am I going when I'm dead. I'm not going to gamble with this masturbating, drinking, pornography life of do what thou wilt shit on this earth, fucking crap, because that's what it is. You think we're excelling and progressing with evolution? Oh, it just takes time, it just takes time. No, we're always born into bullshit. Every fucking time somebody is in bullshit somewhere. We may progress a little bit while we're here, but when we're dead, are we reincarnating, coming back saying this is the way it should be done? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. Because I had dream paralysis. I had sleep paralysis. I had a demon scratch me on my back. A literal scratch. It's burning me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I didn't know it was a demon at the time. I just thought it was weird. Because I didn't know about demons and stuff like that. Even though I did do a Ouija board when I was a kid and it said I am the devil. And it did work. Because you barely touch that thing and it moves. Especially when you're 8 years old. And you're like, our fingers are really heavy. Let's just barely touch this thing. You barely touching it? Yeah, I'm barely touching it. We're shaking so bad that we're barely touching it. This thing starts moving. And it's fucking real. You think it isn't? No, it's not. No, miracles don't happen. That chemical in the brain that makes people think they're in heaven is just a chemical of good feelings. What about when they have hell testimonies? That's not a chemical in the brain that's telling you that things are feeling good. Well, okay, so then, by this point, I'm saying Jesus coming, or not that yet. I'm like doing Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, because obviously there is a world beyond this, a spiritual world. There is, and you don't have to believe that. You can believe that it just you're plugged into the earth. I'm plugged into it. There is no spirit moving my body. What is this animation shit? Right? It's just atoms. Okay, so anyways, you can believe that. You can believe what you want. I'm not telling you what to believe. Believe what you want. But if you end up in hell or in a place you don't want to be when you're dead, then you're going to go, fuck, what have I done? Don't gamble with that shit, man. Do not fucking gamble with it. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, I had sexual problems since age 3 because I saw a green demon when I was 3-4 years old that seduced me. And you say, oh, no, I'm a little girl. This shit happened. You know when you're afraid and you can't sleep and you're awake all night because you're just seeing weird shit. Okay, so anyways, okay. They're walking through, and it just kind of, my husband's keep walking through. Sometimes it gets me off guard. So this is what I end up doing. I repeat Romans 12:2 over and over again with this video that I watched, and I just laid there and I said, God, I'm having a problem with sexual dreams, demonic shit in my dreams, sexually doing things to where I wake up wanting to do myself, sick shit. I'm getting sick of this crap. Please help me. And so this is what I did. For Romans 12:2, I did that for a month. I just meditated. I laid there and I just let God do all the work. God, yeah, Jesus. I let them do. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I personally couldn't. Not other people, they might be able to do it. Great. Good for them. I couldn't. I asked for spiritual help, and it worked. And then this stuff is gone. I'm cleaned of it. None of it's not there anymore. The sexual shit is gone. And this is when I finally I can get married. I'm 48 years old, live with my parents my entire life, because I'm just the world is such a shit place. I'm not going to go out there. I'm so proud of my job. I want money. I want this. No, there was something longing in me that didn't want that crap. I loved my parents. I still love them. I don't know where my mom is. She's dead now, but I don't know where she's at. So the point is, I still lived at home. And what happened? I'm sorry, I've got arthritis and I'm tired enough to take melatonin and I'm going through perimenopause and so anyways, the Romans 12:2, went through that, cleansed of the sexual crap. My friend David, he's gay. He told me that he was in San Diego living his gay lifestyle. He got AIDS. His mom told him to come back to Oregon. That's where I live. And he started having supernatural things. First, a person came to him, a Christian, and started talking to him. He's like, thought it was really weird. He's like, why the hell are you talking to me, right? And then supernatural things started happening to him. But he still didn't believe it. Him and his friend, they took a picture, like a selfie, his friend's phone in the car. Jesus was sitting in the back seat. His friend erases it and says, that's weird shit. I don't want this on my phone. David's like, what the, And David had a hat that said saved, and when you flipped it over, it said Jesus. And he flipped it over and it said Jesus. He's like, what the? It was like a rock and roll hat. They're like, what the heck is this? Right? What broke the camel's back, or the straw that broke the camel's back for David, was he saw Jesus in the clouds on Easter Day of all days. That's when he was like, okay, I'm starting to believe this shit now. This is getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I'm starting to believe this shit now. Because it just started happening. It was like, why is this stuff happening to me? It started happening to him. And then he found a flyer about a men's campus who are broken men who need a place to get back on their feet. It's a Christian place. So he went there, got right with God, even went on missions to Africa, and he's been saved. He's been saved, right? How can this shit happen? If that's not a miracle, I don't know what the fuck is. What's wrong with you people? Okay, what's wrong with me? Yeah, there's something wrong with everybody, I'm telling you. So anyways, my friend David, he told me, I told him, I said, I really want to get married. He goes, well, I've never thought of you that way, Kristy. I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I've had boyfriends and I've had sex with them and I wanted to marry them, but they didn't want to marry me. He said, well, it's great that you want to be married. That's the right way to go, but you shouldn't be having sex out of marriage. Fornication, it's a sin. This is coming from David, the gay man who had AIDS. Okay. I was like, okay, because before I didn't know that it was wrong to do that. And I was like, okay, I believe you. And so I stopped doing all that. And I was like, I'm gonna go onto a Christian dating site and find somebody who's into this stuff. And so I did. And as I was getting to know this person on the Christian dating site, which is my husband now, I saw one more vision of Jesus while I was watching The Big Bang Theory. Son of a bitch. Kaylee Cuoco, right? As I'm watching it, I'm sitting there, and Jesus is smiling at me. He's reaching his right hand out to me, and he's smiling. All the other visions I had of him in the sun, in my heart, on the cross, solemn. On the cross, he's dead. On the sun, and his and the king coming out of my heart, he is solemn. Looking at me, solemn. concerned, not happy. Okay? But now he's reaching his right hand out to me. Oh, but I forgot to say something. Before that happened, I had asked Jesus to come into me, because I'd never asked that before. I was like, Jesus, will you just come into me? Nobody told me to ask this. I didn't read it out of the Bible. I just asked him. I was like, will you come into me? And a week later, I'm walking on water. There's I'm the Holy Spirit dove flying over the Columbia River in St. Helens, Oregon. I'm the Holy Spirit dove flying over the Columbia River. Then, and this is the area kind of where I had like a sex toy that I threw into the river, and it fell down to the. I'm not going to explain what that thing was, but that's where I went to throw that after I had been cleansed of my sexual sins. I went and I threw that thing in the river, and I've never talked about this before, but I'm saying it now. And so in that area of the river, that is where I was walking on water. And then when I looked into the water, because I was the Holy Spirit dove, I come down to the river, I'm flying, and I turn back into myself. I'm in the middle of the river. I'm looking into the river, into the deep area of the river, but about 3 feet below, there are black rocks and gold rocks. Black rocks is my sin that was weighing me down. The gold rocks were like money, because people worship money and they think that money is everything. But you can't take that shit when you're dead, can you? No, you can't. All you take is your spirit. So I was walking on water, because if you're down in the water and you're like your own. You've drowned and your boat is destroyed because you think you're going to control your own boat, which is your own vessel. Your body is your boat. And you're down at the bottom, you see, holding on to your money, holding on to your sins. If you don't let go, you're not going to float up and figure it out as you're going up. You're not going to come up. You're going to keep going down into the cracks of the earth. And you're going to hold on to those rocks, and you're going to become lava. You understand that? Lava. So anyways, I'm up walking on the water to breathe in the air of the kingdom. That's what I was doing. After I asked Jesus to come into me, I was finally like, okay, come into me. You told me who you are. I believe you. And then the rest is history. You can watch other videos. Is Jesus God? He did claim to be God. Is he a liar? No, he's not. I'm at the right hand of God. Oh, I'm happy with Kristy. Here's my right hand. I'm happy with you're my sheep, not my goat. You're my wheat, not my chaff. Okay. I'm not going to get burned up in the fire. No, you're not. That's how I know. And I stay loyal to that, because who the fuck wants to go to hell? And you're a damn idiot if you think you're going to go, if you want to go there. Make your own deathbed. This is the human race. This is the human race. Which way are you going to run? To your own deathbed? To your own deathbed of self-righteous goodness? Subjective self-righteous goodness? Because obviously you're so fucking good. Yeah.
Print out an instructions.
So anyways, that's my story in a very quick way. Before I did like an hour story of every single detail, which you can go back and read. And yeah, if that's not a miracle, if I'm sitting here trying to make money and clicks and get likes for this, no, I'm not. I'm telling it to you, Aaron R.A., and any other atheists out there, that if you think I'm a lying fucking bitch, then fine, you'll find out when you're dead who's telling the truth and who isn't. You're going to find out the truth when you're dead. Gosh, it'd be better for you to find out the truth now than wait till you're dead. I really wish you'd do that. But, that's up to you. It's your choice. You can do whatever the fuck you want. See? The F word just flows beautifully. Whatever the flowers you want. You can have the flowers of hell, which there are none. There's no blood, there's no water, there's no light, there's no air. Barely somewhere. Like you got asthma or something. At least that's what the hell testimonies talk about. They're all the same. Yeah, you can just, oh, well, I'm just going to be my good self. What good self? It's good that you're good, but it'd be better if you'd get with God. Yeah, which religion is it? And if it is a religion, which one is it? Yeah. And if not, right. Okay, well, that's my story, and that's my true story, and that's what Jesus showed me. And then I had to go back and after everything was done, I had to look in the Bible and said, this shit's for real. He sits at the right hand of God. He gets his sheep on the right, which he shows me in this vision. I didn't know what none of this stuff meant until I had to look it up in the Bible. I said, oh, wow. It really is something. And he really got rid of my sexual deviancies and my sexual... Because I got rid of a lot of it, but there was these dreams I would have once or twice a year, demons attacking me. I wake up thinking I had to go pleasure myself from it, and it was not enjoyable or pleasurable. It was sick and disgusting. Who says this stuff? Right? I'm a Christian. Born again. That's what I am. Born again Christian. What does it mean being born again? It means you're going to have water of life. You're not going to go to hell where there isn't any water. You're going to have the water of life. That's why they like to put you in the baptismal on earth, to say, you know what this water means to you? You know how precious that is? You know how much more precious Jesus' living waters is, and the words of his mouth that created that water? Don't. We take that stuff for granted here on earth, don't we? Bad stewards. But you know what? You'll find out the end when you're dead. You ain't gonna live forever. Aaron, R.A., Aaron, Ra. You're not gonna live forever. Someday you're gonna be dead. And then you're gonna find out the truth. It ain't gonna be nice. You're gonna be bad. Bad. Bad like a goat. Or bad like a sheep. Not gonna be good. Okay, well, I pray for you. I pray that you find Jesus Christ and Lord our Jesus. I pray that you find God, because I don't want you to go to hell. It's not a good place. Please don't go there. I love you. Please don't.